Hello and welcome to this short class of yoga for focus and concentration. Today we're going to be doing a sequence of poses building up to eagle pose. In terms of props, you don't need many today. You might want a block to sit on, but I think that would be it. If you enjoy practicing with me and want to check out my classes, then look at the description below to find more details. I hope you enjoy this session. We'll get started lying on our backs with our knees bent, with our feet mat distance apart and our knees resting in towards each other. When you're there, I'd like you to take a moment just to take a little wriggle or fidget, rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and perhaps letting the palms turn so they face upwards. Just let the backs of the arms and everything relax on the floor below. Starting to deepen your breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. And I invite you to add the mantra, I have the power to focus. So every time you inhale, you say to yourself, I have the power to focus now. And exhale. Repeating that phrase, I have the power to focus now, on every inhale and every exhale. Bringing that attention back to that phrase if it's drifted. And after your next exhale, I'd like you to release that phrase. Perhaps save it for later as part of your practice. From here, I'd like you to bring the knees outwards and extend your right leg down the mat, bringing your left knee into your chest. And letting it stay here, we're going to not use our hands for this exercise. I'm going to bend it into the chest and then straighten it up to the sky and then lower it back down. So bending it in, straightening it up and lowering it back down. So it's almost like you're riding a bicycle. So imagining that kind of wheel motion with your foot. And you're almost pressing into the pedals. So keeping your feet nice and active. So bringing the toes back towards the shins and working with this cycle leg. We'll do it one more time, bringing the knee into the chest, bringing the foot up to the sky and down. And placing that foot and leg down on the ground. I'd just like you to notice if there's any difference in feeling between your right and your left leg. When you're ready, now you're going to bring the right knee into your chest, holding it there for a moment, just with the muscles, not using your hands to help. And then when you're ready, you're going to straighten that right leg up to the sky, and then gently bring that foot back down to the ground. Again, bringing the knee in, straightening the foot up, pressing that foot up to the sky, and then bringing the leg back down to the ground, sweeping the heel along the floor to bring the knee in, foot up, out and down, creating that cycle motion on this side. We'll do this one more time. So again, sweeping that foot along the floor, bringing the knee into the chest, the foot up to the sky, and then round and down. Again, allowing the feet and legs to relax on the floor, just noticing any shifts, any changes. How's your body feeling after getting moving? And when you're ready, you're then going to ground both feet into the floor, so bending the knees, having your feet hip distance apart. You're going to bend the left knee, bringing the left ankle over the right knee, bringing the left knee out to the side, finding your figure of four. Option to stay here and just work on increasing the hip opening in this area, or you can bring the right foot off the floor, bringing the hands around the back of the thigh and clasping to help find a greater stretch, and perhaps playing with where your right foot is today. So perhaps bringing that closer towards your shin or further out to the side. Change the way you feel it. Gently exhaling the right foot to the floor if it's up, and gently placing that left foot down. Taking a moment to settle. Before you gently lift up that right knee and bring the right ankle over the left knee. Bringing that right knee out to the side to find that opening. Your figure of four. From here, option to bring that left foot off the floor and bring your hands around the back of the left thigh if that feels comfortable for you. Breathing into any areas of tension here. Option to play again with where that left foot is, either extending it up to the sky or bring it closer down towards the ground. And then gently placing that left foot down. You're going to uncross the right foot, bring it back down to center. And then from here, I'd like you to lift up the left knee and cross it over. So you're in a cross-legged position. And then I'd like you to bring your knees over towards the right-hand side to find a gentle twist in the spine. Letting the knees hang over to one side, perhaps bringing the arms out into a T shape if that's comfortable, or letting them hang wherever they want. They can just be by your sides if that feels more comfortable today. And gently on your next inhale, rolling those knees back up to center, uncrossing the legs and changing the crossover so your right leg goes over your left. Again, crossing just above the knee. As you gently on your next exhale, shift over to find a twist on the opposite side. Perhaps again, finding your arms in a T shape on this side, feeling a gentle spinal twist. Perhaps looking over the opposite fingertips if it feels good for you. See if you can find any release with your breath. Before you gently on your next inhale, bring the knees back up to center, uncross the legs, and then hug both knees into the chest as you rock from side to side, just to release anything in the lower back. Then we're going to rock up and down our spine, rocking and rolling up to a seated position. So we're going to come into hero's pose now. And so what we're doing is having our feet slightly wider than our hips. So we can feel that everything's slightly rotated inwards. So we're looking for an internal hip rotation here. So what you're going to do is, if you've got a block or cushion handy, pop it under your bum and you're going to gently sit down onto it. So I've got it on a kind of low setting, but you can have it as high as you need to in order to make it comfortable. So you can play with a bolster and layer up. But you're looking to have a stretch opening out the outside of your kind of thigh area. Wonderful. So we're going to stay here for a little while and we're going to do some arms. So I'd like you to circle your shoulders, just rolling them up and back and down. And again, rolling them forwards a little bit as well. Again, rolling them up, back and down. And then I'd like you to inhale your arms out to the sides and exhale over, bringing your left arm over your right, giving yourself a big hug. Again, bringing your elbows up a little bit if you can. Just finding that hug, seeing how it feels like, what it feels like. On your next inhale, expanding the arms out again. I'd like you to exhale and bring the opposite arm over this time to find your hug. Again, bringing those elbows up. seeing if you can find a stretch and opening over the chest and shoulders. On your next inhale, again, breathing those arms out to the side. This time I'd like you to find your left arm over your right, meeting at the elbows, a bend there, and you're looking to try and get the backs of your hands kind of pressing in towards each other. Again, those elbows up to shoulder height. Turning your attention to your breath here. If you're familiar with eagle arms, you can come into the full eagle arms where you look. Again, just checking that those elbows haven't crept down, and really feeling that space and opening down the back of the shoulders. On your next inhale, uncrossing and twisting those arms. And exhale, finding the right arm on top of the left, bending at the elbow, and again, looking to press into the backs of the palms. Those elbows at shoulder height. Before you, again, potentially find a meeting of the palms together. And just checking that your shoulders haven't crept up towards your ears, trying to bring them up, back and down if they are. And your palms are away from your face. Your shoulders are in line with your elbows. So bringing those elbows up a little bit if you need to. On your next inhale, gently uncrossing, and exhaling, bringing it out to the side and down. And just again, taking any shimmies, shakes, anything that you need, little shoulder shrugs. Just perhaps letting go of anything in the arms. Also shifting your weight forward, going to get rid of that block. Perhaps taking any motion with the hips here. So coming into an all fours position, rocking your hips round to the side, perhaps coming into a funky version of cat-cow with some figures of 8, some hip circles, whatever feels good. You move however you want to move today. And then I'd like you to bring your palms a palm distance forward, tuck your toes under, and find a downward facing dog. Again, option to bring movement in here, so perhaps bending both knees, bringing the hips up and back, see if you can find any extra length, or pedaling out the feet, walking the dog. We're not going to stay here for too long today. I'd like you to step your feet up to the top of the mat, finding yourself in a gentle forward fold. So bending generously the knees, bringing your abdomen towards the tops of the thighs, letting everything hang out here. And then when you're ready, very slowly, you're going to roll yourself up. So starting really from the base of the spine, working your way up the middle of your back, to your top of your back, and eventually to your neck, your head coming up last. Rolling those shoulders up, back and down, palm facing the front, finding your mountain pose at the top of the mat. Perhaps closing the eyes here, perhaps bringing the feet up, spreading the toes out onto the mat. Really grounding into your feet here, nice and stable. And then you've got the option to bring your feet a little bit closer together now, or hip distance apart maximum as we come into chair pose. So for this pose, you're going to really focus on bringing your weight back into your heels and sitting back, imagining that you're sitting back in a chair. So bringing the weight, shifting the weight back in your heels, sticking that bum out and down, finding that perhaps a prayer pose in front of you as you bring your chest up. Bring the weight back into your heels, feeling the burn in your quads. And then from here, I'd like you to inhale your arms out, and again, bringing that left arm over the right to potentially find your version of eagle arm. So it could be your palms pressing back towards each other or twisted round. Again, just checking in that your elbows are in line with your shoulders. And then on your next exhale, gently releasing, bringing those arms back down and straightening yourself up. Taking a little shimmy and a shake before we inhale, exhale, and we're going to sink ourselves back down into our chairs. So shifting the weight back into our heels as we bring the bum back down to the ground, tucking that tummy in to keep us nice and stable. And again, we're going to do the opposite way around now. So again, bringing the arms out to the side, and this time bringing the right arm over the left, finding your eagle arms. From here, gently releasing the arms, bringing your hands to your hips and coming back up. An option to add a forward fold, just to flush out anything going on in the back. Perhaps releasing down the back of the legs, giving them a little rub. The thighs a little rub, they feel good. And gently rolling yourself back upright. We're now going to come and find our eagle pose. Starting in our mountain pose, we're going to ground in to the left foot, raising the right foot up and over. So bringing our right thigh over our left thigh, finding a cross of the legs. This might be enough, or you're looking to bring your toes behind if you can. Otherwise, focus on just having it over the top. Just cross, that's all good. And then from there, you're going to focus on bringing your weight into the heels again, finding your chair pose in this position. Chest is nice and proud and up as you find a little bend here. And this might be enough for you today. You might have your hands on your hips or your hands in prayer. Or if you'd like to add in the eagle arms, inhale your arms up. Bring your right arm over your left, coming round to find your eagle arms in this pose. To release, gently release the arms up and out to the side. You're going to gently raise yourself up, uncrossing your legs, coming back to mountain pose. Again, taking a shimmy, shake, hip circles, whatever feels good. We're doing the same thing on the opposite side. Grounding in to your right foot as you bring your left knee up and over to find a leg cross. Again, option to have your hands on your hips here to help with a bit of stability. Option just keep it here like this, just crossed, or you're going to try and find the back of your calf with your foot. When you're there, you're going to sink down into the heels to find your chair pose. Again, keeping your chest loud and proud. And inhaling your arms up and out. And this time we're going to cross the left arm over the right. Gently holding here for a couple of breaths before you release the arms out, uncross the legs and come back to center. Gently inhaling the arms up, exhaling over to find your forward fold. You're going to curl yourself down to the ground, coming onto your back, hugging the knees into the chest. And I'd like you to ground your feet into the earth. Your feet about hip distance apart, perhaps a little wider. As you exhale your legs over to one side. Inhale them back to center. And exhale them to another side. Focusing each time on your breath. Perhaps lengthening and slowing. But keeping the evenness of your inhale and your exhale. Gently releasing any tension into your mat as you find stillness, perhaps with your knees resting gently in towards each other. Perhaps coming back to your mantra, I have the power to focus now. Option to stay here for a few more breaths, or if you'd like to end your practice with me, I'd like you to roll on to your favourite side, coming back up to a comfortable seated position, whether that be cross-legged, kneeling, or feet outstretched. Rolling those shoulders up, back and down. I'd like you to inhale your arms up, rolling your fingertips, bringing them down to meet your chest in front of you. Bowing your head to your hands. I'd like you to come back to your mantra now. I have the power to focus now. I'd like to thank you very much for practicing with me. Hopefully it's left you with a bit more focus and concentration for the rest of the day. And this video is here for whenever you need it. If you've enjoyed practicing with me, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel? You can also check out my live classes, my schedule in the description below. I look forward to seeing you soon.